All right. Sorry, everybody. There we go. All right. Hello, everybody. Hey, Jason. You figured it out at least. It drives me nuts. I set this up, and sometimes it picks it as live stream instead of camera, and of course, Google being stupid, there's no way to adjust it afterwards. So anyway, I just realized it was thinking it was a live stream software. I don't know what. So anyway, hey, Bastille. Anyway, we're good now. Since we're early, the sunlight's going to be shining. So hopefully that's not going to get, it's okay for you guys. On TikTok, it's already kind of shining on the camera, but we'll survive. Let me just get TikTok set up here. All right. There we go. Hey, Amanda. Yeah, people are figuring it out shortly, so that's good. All right. 1 second here. One moment here. There we go. All right. All right. Going live. All right. Here we go. 1 second here. TikTok. Oops. TikTok. There we go. All right. Woo! Okay. Much better now. Hello, everybody. All right. TikTok is actually loading too, so hooray. Anyway, how are we all doing today? I'm better now that I figured out what was wrong with YouTube. Hey, TikTokers. YouTubers. Everybody take a second and introduce yourselves if you would. There you are. Hey, Andre in Manchester. Big Hawk, being creepy as ever. Hey, Ash. Well, thanks for joining early today, guys. Hey, Marie. Oh, you're over here on YouTube just to trick us today, Marie. Yes, decided to do a little early. Dinner. Neighbors are grabbing dinner tonight at 7, so I wanted to join them and be done in time. So I figured we'd start it now. And this way, if we go a little late, it's still early enough for me to grab dinner with the neighbors. So it'd be nice. Something fun to do. Yes, that is correct, Bixo. We will talk about that. Thank you, Richard and Chazak, for the gifts. Big Huck, you got to run at 5:35. That's okay. It's okay. Anyway, so welcome, guys. We're going to wait maybe half a minute as always, maybe a minute max just for folks to arrive. Thank you, Alan. And then we'll get the show rolling. Thank you, Derek. Lots of gifts today. I appreciate it, guys. We are not doing a colonoscopy seminar today. We already did that yesterday. Today, we're moving on. Hey, Bacon. I am early today because I've got dinner plans with friends. So normally the show would still be going on by the time that our dinner is. So I'm going to join them and run to a restaurant. Hey, Marcy, which will be nice. Haven't done that in a while. So, hey, Jorge. Marcy, both of you, thanks for the gifts. Anyway, it is not a terribly busy news day. So I will give you the news updates, and then I think we will kind of hang and talk because it's just that. It's just not a hugely busy news day. So it is okay, but what do you do? Anyway, Greek. We're going for Greek, which is always risky when I go for Greek, but we'll see. But because I am Greek and I make my own Greek food. So whenever I go to Greek restaurants, it's always like, it's never quite, the way I make it or mom makes it. You know what I mean? Your daughter's learning Greek on Duolingo. That's kind of fun. Hey, Vicky. Hey, Life. So mods, if you want to tell people as they ask why we're early today, I've got dinner plans with friends. So I wanted to do the show a little early so I could still go to dinner with them and not be rushed with you. Thank you, Vicky. Yep. So one person already got back to me and her spouse saw me talking about getting a colonoscopy this week and finally decided it was time to get theirs. So that was good. So we're very glad to see that. Anyway, let's get rolling, guys. And then we could do the Q&A and everything else. So no problem. Oops. Hello. Goodbye, troll. So let's get rolling. Hey, guys, welcome. I am John Aravosis. This is the Aravosis Report. This is my nightly show I do Monday to Friday, talking about the latest news from Ukraine, but also the U.S. elections. As we get closer to the election, I've said that I was going to focus more and more on the U.S. elections because they really matter. And obviously, it's a topic people care about. So that's what we're doing. Let's get rolling. So just a quick little update. Tomorrow morning, we've got our weekly show that I do for the paid subscribers. You know how I love that some of you guys are monthly subscribers on TikTok and YouTube. It's like, I don't know, $5 to $7 a month, something like that. And it is basically a way of supporting my work, which I very much appreciate. And as a thank you, among other things, I do a special Saturday show, Saturday morning. 11 a.m. Eastern time US, in order to thank people. And it's a nice show because it's kind of a quiet, I don't really prepare a script or anything like I do for today. Thank you, Jonathan. So it's a nice kind of mellow show. There aren't that many people. I'm able to see all your comments, all your questions. It's a really nice chance for us for like an hour to just hang out and talk, which is nice. So any of you who have got SNN next to your name on TikTok or green names on YouTube, you are monthly subscribers. Some of you paid for it. Others were given it as a gift for a month. So that's pretty cool too. Anyway, join us tomorrow morning if you would, and let me get rolling. So as always, please keep the gifts coming. And please consider maybe subscribing if you can afford it. I do this full time, and your gift is literally what pays my bills. Nobody else pays me. So I appreciate it, guys. All right. So Biden, this is it. This is just constant turmoil as to what's going on with Biden in the election. Thank you, Jay. Thank you, JMK. Thank you, Suzanne. Thank you, Chris. So Biden's we're getting to Ukraine. That's happening second half of the show, Luau. First, we're talking U.S. elections, which is equally important and frankly, super important for Ukraine. Thank you, Christine, for the gift. So I would say as of right now, Biden's digging in. In the last 24 hours, things got worse for Biden. So, okay, a week ago, Biden was in trouble, meaning lots of important Democrats were standing up, members of Congress, et cetera, calling on him to step down, right? So big deal. He was in trouble. Then Trump gets shot. Media attention literally goes away from Biden's age to Trump's health, obviously. Thank you for the blooming ribbons, Jay, and Buddy as well for the W. Well, the media's switching back to Biden in part because Democrats are switching back to Biden. We now have 32 members of Congress that have stepped up and publicly called on Biden to resign the nomination, so to speak. We have 2 additional Democratic senators, John Tester yesterday and Senator Heinrich today, who have come out and called for Biden to step down. That's 3 senators openly, though several senators did it privately as well. What is interesting is that was very bad for Biden in the last 24 hours. Thank you, Family Lavery, in that having more Democrats go forward, big members of Congress, starts to put more pressure on him, starts to make it so that other Democrats, in politics, we call this the Overton window. It's the window of what's acceptable. When you've got more and more Democrats going public, especially senior Democrats, and calling on Biden to step down, you're expanding, you're making it acceptable for other people to speak up. Actually, you know what I'm talking about too. You don't want to be the first person to raise your hand at work and say something, but if 3 other people say it, you might jump in and go, I kind of agree with them, right? You might not be the first person to do it. That's the Overton window. It's expanding the space of what is acceptable discussion in essence, right? Thank you, user 829. So by more Democrats coming out today and calling on Biden to step down, it is expanding the window of possible Democrats that might feel comfortable coming forward. Having said that, and this gets interesting, Biden's campaign chair goes on MSNBC today and says he is absolutely staying in the race. He is the best person to take on Donald Trump. What is clear to me as of today, Biden's people are convinced, let me put it this way. Biden wants to stay in the race. They're pissed. They want to stay in the race. They are going to shut down the opposition. Now, I don't know that it's going to work, but their strategy now is, and I've seen people even saying this, Biden says he's staying. If you keep criticizing him, you are damaging our chances because he's not leaving, right? Now, the opposite could be said. The people who want Biden to step down could say, we're going public. We're calling on you to step down. If you stay in the race, you're damaging our chances of winning the White House because we are absolutely going to keep criticizing you, right? So it's a catch-22 there, or maybe not catch-22, a game of chicken in terms of who's going to, but right now, Biden's people clearly are planning on him staying in for now. They are making an effort to shut down the debate. They are making an effort to basically tell Democrats, we're staying, shut the F up, members on the Hill. Here's what gets interesting. Will that work? The next kind of stuff, the next things that you should look for in terms of figuring out what's going to happen with Biden is in the next couple, starting today and the next couple days, do more Democrats come out and call on Biden to step down? We did have a couple more House members today that called on him to step down. Thank you, Christine. We did, as I said, had Senator Heinrich, who I think was today. Now, not clear whether the Democratic senator from New Mexico, whether he said it after Biden's people came out and said he's staying. But that's going to be the next thing to keep an eye on is will Biden continue to hemorrhage Democratic support? Will more members of Congress go, I don't care, you need to step down? If they do, then I think the problem continues for him. That's the thing we're going to see here. I just don't know. I don't know. It's a mess. I mean, I will tell you, I've gotten to the point now where I'm kind of pissed at Biden. A month ago, I was pissed at the media, or maybe 3 weeks ago. Because look, Biden sucked at the debate, but the media clearly decided, let's make it an issue, right? And that kind of pissed me off. Now I'm getting increasingly pissed at Biden. And the reason I say this is, guys, even though nobody has clean hands, right? Nobody has clean hands in this. The media went nuts on Biden, and frankly, unfairly so. I mean, Donald Trump. Why aren't they calling on Donald Trump to step out of the race, right? So the media has been unfair. Democrats standing up against Biden, it's dangerous. You do potentially risk the election. Having said that, Biden told us when he ran, he was going to run for one term. He was going to be the guy to get rid of Trump and give America a breather, right? Then last year, he decided he was running again. Well, that wasn't what he agreed to. And the reason he agreed to it was because he's old. And you know what? He's really old. It's not good. I mean, I just watched him again on TV today. He's really old. Obviously, really old is better than fascist. Okay, I get it. But he should have stepped down last year when he promised he was going to. He put us in this position. Right now, I feel he put us in this position, and I'm kind of pissed off, basically. I'm kind of pissed off. That he should have stepped down a year and a half ago. Stepped down meaning announced like he had promised. We're not, let's have a primary. Let's have Whitmer versus Harris versus Pete versus, what's his face, Gavin Newsom, and pick. It's, as I said, the media has been unfair. Democrats standing up to Biden has been maybe a little unfair, but you know what? Biden's been unfair by staying in the race. He promised us he was going to drop out a year and a half ago. He clearly, I'm going to say something too. And again, I've got a pretty big show, but it's not like I'm going to be on the national news, right? So I'm not necessarily afraid. I'm not going to change the Biden's decision by saying this, but I'm forgetting what I was going to say. I'm kind of pissed at him. He's too old. He is too old, and he should have told us, And it's just no. The media. I think the media was being unfair, Martin, because the media went nuts. The media went ballistic. They went 24 hours a day. He's out. He's out. He's out. He's out. Are they doing that to Trump? Are they doing that to Trump? No, right? Donald Trump's a freaking felon. Donald Trump should have left. For one of a million reasons, Donald Trump should step down and not run for office. Why isn't the media going crazy on Donald Trump and saying, you're a fascist, you're a felon, you sexually assaulted a woman, right? You hate the troops. You called our troops suckers and losers. You tried to violently overthrow the government. You have no right to run for president if you try to violently overthrow the government. Why isn't the media going nonstop on Donald? That's where I say I think the media has been unfair here, right? Thank you, Succeed. They decided to take down Biden. Actually, I'm going to use a little phrase that I sort of created myself when the media was going after Bill Clinton and the Republicans were going after Bill Clinton in the 1990s over Monica and everything else. The Republicans spent, 6-7 years, however long until the Monica thing came up. I don't even remember however many years going after Clinton. It was a witch hunt against Bill Clinton from the beginning. They were going to screw him no matter what. And they made up a bunch of lies. Oh God, they claimed the Clintons murdered people in the White House. I mean, they would literally, you can't imagine the lies these people put out about the Clintons. But I said about Bill Clinton, it was a witch hunt and they found a witch. And what worries me about Biden is it's a witch hunt, but they found a little bit of a witch. And that's what bothers me, is that this age thing is bothering me now. It's bothering me, Obviously, he's better than Trump. That's not the question. The question here is we need to win this race. We need to beat Donald Trump. And had he told us a year and a half ago what was going on and kept his promise, we would have been in better shape beating Donald Trump. That's what pisses me off. Thank you, Succeed. That's what pisses me off here. And that's why I say I feel like there's kind of unclean hands all around, which I don't like. Who can win now? It depends on the polls. I mean, the Kamala Harris polls that came out yesterday were very split. Some states she does better, some states she does worse, so that's not necessarily clear. I mean, honestly, what would have to happen is Biden would have to step down. I mean, step down meaning announce he's not running, and you'd have a month of Democrats vying for who's going to be the nominee. They'd go public. Like I said, CNN would have a debate. CNN would absolutely have a debate for the top Democrats. You know, Harris versus Gretchen Whitmer versus who knows, right? Some of these state governors, Michelle Obama. I would love Michelle Obama, but you know, who knows if we get Michelle Obama, right? So it's just really, it's just it's just yeah. Now the media isn't for the left; the media is for the truth, and the right wing went crazy. I'm sorry, but come on, Donald Trump's your nominee. You should expect to be criticized when literally, like, you've got a convicted felon who tried to violently overthrow the government and has been found guilty in a court of sexually assaulting women, among other things. You should expect criticism for that. In a democracy, you criticize that. It does not make you left wing. It makes you American. It makes you a good human being to say Donald Trump is kind of a POS, and we know he is. And I mean, I'm sorry, guys, but I'm a student of history. This is the 1930s. It's the early 1930s Europe. And we're supposed to not criticize the up-and-coming fascist powers because it would be biased to be mean to the guy in Germany and Italy in 1933, right? Come on. You know, you picked a piece of crap as your candidate and you're paying for it. You know that. No, I mean, they know it. It's at this point, it's kind of a joke that we even need to debate this. I mean, we don't need to debate it. Everybody knows Donald Trump and what he is. You know, he's a horrible human being. We know that. And he was a crappy president. That's the way, I mean, come on, right? It just, whatever. I mean, I shouldn't even need to get into it. In any case, so that's what's up with that. Trump. So Trump gave his acceptance speech last night. The first half hour was recounting the details of recounting the details of the assassination attempt. The next hour, he went for an hour and a half, the longest speech in U.S. nomination history. And the next hour was Trump's grievances, like always. He claimed he was going to be for unity. He claimed that, the assassination attempt made him a changed man because God intervened to save him. And now, anyway, interesting thing on that fact, we are now 6 days into Trump. I'm not going to say being shot, of Trump being shot at, right? We are 6 days into Trump being shot at. We still haven't heard from his doctors. There's been no press conference about his health. There's not even been a letter from a doctor saying how he is. Guys, he's a 78-year-old man, and we're to believe, I'm not convinced he was shot, to be honest. I think he was shot at. We found out today, by the way, the press in Pennsylvania said multiple Secret Service agents were injured by when the bullets came they were by Trump on the stage, and when the bullets came at Trump, they hit something and shattered either plastic or metal, and little bits of metal or plastic hit the Secret Service agents and cut them. That could have been what happened to Trump. We don't know if he was hit by a bullet. Only Trump has said so. Oddly, no one else has said so. That's weird, right? If Trump was hit by a bullet, he's 78 years old. In a million years, I mean, think of it as being your parents, right? Your parents are 78 or grandparents. They get hit by a bullet. And they say, "Oh, it just went through my ear." You don't need to know. You don't need to know the rest of what the doctor said. You'd be like, "Are you kidding me? We need to know what the doctor said," right? Donald Trump is 78 years old and claiming he was hit by a bullet. If he was, we need to hear that from the doctors. We need to hear from the doctors. Was he hit by the bullet? How much damage did it cause? Did the bullet hit him as well? When the bullet hit him, did it fragment? Did a part of it hit his head? I mean, what kind of shape is he in? He's 78 years old, guys. And what bothers me about this is not just whether Trump's lying about getting hit by a bullet, because, Trump lies about everything. I mean, he lied about getting COVID. He denied it. He then almost got, he risked killing Biden by giving Biden COVID on stage. Literally didn't tell Biden he had COVID during the debate with Biden. He gave it to Chris Christie and almost killed Chris Christie, a former Republican governor who trained Trump for the debates. Christie got COVID from Trump because Trump didn't tell him he was sick. And Christie was in the intensive care unit for a week and almost died. To this day, Chris Christie still has not forgiven Trump because Trump almost killed him. Trump himself had to go to the emergency room at Walter Reed because he was dying. His blood oxygen was in the 80s. He was dying. And they shipped him to the hospital. They didn't tell any of us what was going on. They did not tell the American people that the president was dying. Hannah, thank you. To me, if you're willing to lie about all of that, would you lie about a bullet hitting your ear? Of course you would. But again, let's pretend he's telling the truth. Let's pretend that a 78-year-old man, thank you, Hannah. Let's pretend that a 78-year-old man did have a bullet hit his ear. You better damn well release a doctor's report about that. Thank you, Courtney, right? You're 78 years old and you were literally shot. We need a doctor's report on what your condition is. And the fact that it's not being released, typically in Donald Trump's case, means he's hiding something. Anyway, just thought I'd bring it up because it comes to sort of the fascist nature of this and the authoritarian nature. We're a democracy. We're supposed to know about our leaders' health. You don't get shot and not have at least a press conference about it. You just don't. You don't. This isn't American. All the Trump supporters know it. If it were Biden, they'd be freaking out. If Biden got shot and decided to oh no, we're not going to have any doctors. We're not going to have any doctors talk about his. He's a former president, guys. He's the Republican nominee. He was shot. They never, ever, ever even released one statement from a doctor about his condition. That is freaking weird. And it's inappropriate. And it is unfortunately what you get with a Trump presidency, unfortunately. So, all right, let's keep moving. What else we got here? Let's move on to Russia and Ukraine. So, day 876 of Putin's 3-day military operation in Ukraine. The Russians today sentenced U.S. journalist Evan Gershkovich to 16 years in jail, or Gershkovich, I guess is how maybe you say his name. He is a Wall Street Journal reporter, kidnapped by the Russians. Oh, thank you for the gift there, Josh. Please keep the gifts coming, guys. Appreciate them. As I said, this is if you don't like the trolls and you want me speaking truth to power, as the kids say, keep financing me. I do this full time. I do it for free. The only way I can pay my bills is with your help. So please keep it going. You guys support the show. Thank you, Jane. So the Russians, thank you, Flower Lady. You are always very sweet. The wave. The Russians kidnapped American journalist about a year and 4 months ago. Evan Gershkovich, American of Russian descent, Wall Street Journal claimed he was spying for the CIA, which is total bullshit. We don't do that. The Russians do that. I mean, everybody working for Russia in this country is a spy, basically. We don't do that. Especially with the Wall Street Journal. That does not happen. So the Russians nab him. As the Russians do, they like to take hostages and trade them for basically supervillains, super spies, etc. Thank you, Kai. Thank you, dog person or dog or cat lady or person. Lamb Chop. Appreciate the gifts. Lamb Chop again. Josh. And put him on trial. And they put him on trial because the Russians want to send him to jail and then negotiate for some horrific mass murderer to be released in a Western prison. That's what they're going to do. Well, they convicted him today. Big surprise of, treason and spying, blah, 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 blah. Big surprise. Thank you, C. Murph. Appreciate the gift. Thank you, Josh. So next up is going to be at some point a negotiation for a couple super spies to be released in exchange for the hostage that the Russians took. Because again, they're not a democracy. They're a dictatorship. This is what they do. It wasn't a trial. No, it was a show trial. It was a fake trial. Thank you, Daniel. They're a dictatorship. I mean, they are what they are. Zelensky. So Zelensky has been in, thank you, C. Murph. Thank you, Daniel. Zelensky has been in Britain this week. He met with the British Parliament. I think he was the first. He was either the first foreign leader ever or in a very long time to speak, not to the Parliament, to speak to the British cabinet. Thank you, B, for the gifts there. He called on the British Prime Minister, the new British Prime Minister. Remember, they had elections, so the left is now in power. Called on the British Prime Minister to loosen up the restrictions on using British cruise missiles to fire deep into Russia. The British government said, nope. We're not going to do it. We're not going to let you, at some point, again, the West needs to decide if they want Ukraine to win or not, because we keep sort of prescribing things that will make this war last and last and last and last forever. German Chancellor Scholz, when asked about Zelensky talking about shooting down, intercepting Russian missiles coming in over Ukraine. Remember, the Poles were talking about this. Poland was saying they were considering whether when Russian missiles are going across Ukraine, heading towards Poland, whether the Poles will shoot them down. Haven't decided yet. They're considering it. Scholz came out and said, it is out of the question. Whatever. I mean, again, they need to decide what they want to do, right? NATO needs to decide, do they want Ukraine to win or not? But right now, they're not winning. They're not really losing, but they're not really winning. And do we just plan on continuing this for the next 20 years? What's the freaking plan here, right? See you, Big Hawk. The Polish government. So this is interesting. We don't know too many details on this, but the Polish government made some decision today that will make it easier to basically get the F-16s to Ukraine. Zelensky said they made a positive decision that will help speed up the delivery of the F-16s. A Polish news agency, citing a source in the Polish Defense Ministry, said the decision does not concern Polish F-16s, but it concerns logistical issues such as transport of jets from other allies. So it sounds like Poland gave permission for the F-16s to go via Poland, and somehow, it's hard to know the details here, but somehow that is going to make it easier and quicker for the F-16s to get to Ukraine, which is good. I mean, they were vague on it, which is fine, but good to know the Poles are helping, and again, it'll expedite the process of the F-16s. Ukrainian forces shot down a Russian Su-25 attack aircraft in eastern Ukraine today, which is good news. Thank you, Annie, for the gift. And the final story, as I said, there's not a lot of news today, so we'll hang and talk about the election in Ukraine. Russian tourists are reportedly canceling their summer holidays in occupied Crimea. So the Russians, as you know, occupied southern Ukraine back in 2014. They invaded. That's when the war really started, was 2014. They grabbed southern Ukraine, occupied it, kicked the Ukrainians out. And the Russians have been going on holiday there and going to the beaches and stuff, and then complaining when there's like bombings and things near the beach, which is, insane, right? Just ridiculous. So the apparently 80% of trips to Sevastopol, which is the big city in the area, have been canceled. And holiday vacations have been canceled, a third across the peninsula overall. You have to kind of laugh, though. It's like only the Russians would think, let's occupy a war zone and send people to the war zone, right? I mean, it just blows my mind. Oh, hello, crazy troll person. I know. Russia gets very upset that the Ukrainians are a democracy on their border because it sends a message to the Russians that you too can overthrow your government and have a democracy. You don't have to have a dictatorship, because if other Slavic governments can have democracies, so can Russia, and it drives them crazy. Hey, Ukraine F. Putin. Great community. Peremogi. I know Peremogi. Peremogi is like, isn't it like victory or something, I think, as I recall? Imiru. That's either peace or world. Sim Ukraine. Okay, you have to. Victory and peace. Oh, look at it. Victory and peace to all Ukrainians. There you go. I was close. Victory and peace. All right, there we go. There we go. Oh, Liam. So, Liam, we don't use that word in English. You're a foreign troll. I love when foreign trolls come here and do this. That's not a word we use in American. It's literally not a word in American English. He used a word out of Shakespeare. Now, I'm not even going to say what it is. The Brits, actually, I will say what it is because it makes me laugh. The Brits use this word. Actually, British people tell me, do you actually use this word? The word is cuckold. It is literally a word out of Shakespeare. In America, you will not hear the word cuckold unless somebody is quoting William Shakespeare. That's it. That's it. You will not hear the word. And it cracks me up. The guy comes and goes, "Are you a cuckold?" Okay, so Brits, tell me Brits. Literally, I know, yeah, but cuck is a far right term now today. But is cuckold a word that anybody actually uses in any kind of other Anglophone country? There's literally no normal American that would use the word cuckold. No. Not even the UK. Yeah. I mean, literally, you'd be a pompous asshole if you lived in America and used the word cuckold. I know what the word means. I would never use that word. It's a Shakespeare word. Shakespeare and corn? That's funny. But so it always cracks me up. So even the UK, but I love that. Like literally, the troll is literally using a word out of Shakespeare. Oh my God. Thank you, Pizzolis, for the gift. Well, I mean, again, you guys know this. Shakespeare was one of yours. It's literally a word out of Shakespeare. I love that stuff. I just love that stuff. Aussies, I don't know. I doubt the Aussies do it. The Aussies don't strike me as the kind of people who would use the word cuckold. Probably even less than we would, because we're certainly more relaxed than the Brits are. Oh my God. And the word sect is spelled with a C, Mario, not a K. We are very demanding of our trolls here. If you're going to come here and troll, learn to do it in proper English. That is one of the requirements we make. Thank you, Annie. Anyway. All right. Sect with a K. Mario. Have some pride. Oh, is it Harry's birthday today? Oh, Harry Sisson's birthday. Oh, Harry Sisson's daddy. Oh, I just said Harry Sisson's birthday. I'm Harry Sisson's daddy. That kind of works. Yeah, it kind of works. Oh, man. Anyway, so let's talk. What do you want to do? Do we think Biden's going to drop out? Not as of today. As of today, Biden is digging in. He is trying to make the criticism go away by digging in. Basically, Biden's goal here, clearly what the White House is doing. We are not going to quit. We're staying in. And if you criticize us anymore, you are damaging our chances to beat Trump. So they're trying to put it on the other foot and say, Biden isn't the one making it hard to beat Trump. Other Democrats who criticize Biden are the ones making it hard to beat Trump. And they're hoping that that will be enough to shame criticism and make it go away. Maybe, and I'm saying this honestly, I think there's a 50-50 chance. Actually, not even 50-50. I think it is likely the criticism is going to continue. I think it's likely the criticism is going to continue. I think so. I think I'm pretty pragmatic, Patrick. Patrick says, I think you're the ultimate pragmatist. I think I'm very pragmatic in my politics, but I also, because I've been a longtime activist as well on civil rights issues, I also absolutely believe you can accomplish huge things in politics that sometimes people don't think you can accomplish. So I may be a pragmatist, but I'm a pragmatist who is often has high goals and goes, oh, we can do this. We can impact the presidency. Sure, let's do it. Let's go after. We went after Obama. We went after lots of big people. Dick Cheney. I really went after the Cheneys. I'm the reason, if you know this, Dick Cheney, who was our former vice president, Republican under Bush, his daughter's gay. I am probably the reason, if you know his daughter's gay, I'm probably the reason you know his daughter's gay, even though you may not know it. So yes, I am a pragmatist, but I also what's the word? I don't know if it's ambitious is the word, but I'm very optimistic. I believe you can accomplish things in politics. Yeah. So AOC kind of weighed in defending Biden again, which I thought was interesting. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, very liberal member of Congress on the left, socialist basically. But she was doing a live last night and really got pissed at people criticizing Biden. I thought it was very, very, she is very smart politically. Very smart politically. It's just very interesting. Hey, Stephen in the UK. Iggy, we changed the time slot today because I've got dinner with friends later and it would have interfered with the show. So this way I start early and there's no rush. So, yep. Yes, Biden did iterate. He's not dropping out. Honestly, here's the problem with where we are right now. Biden, as I said, is trying to shut down criticism by saying, I'm not dropping out, period. And if you criticize me, you're just making it harder for us to win. Well, if I were one of those, thank you, Wilson, I'll get to that in a sec. If I were one of those calling on Biden to drop out, I would say, we're not giving up, period. We're going to keep calling on you to drop out, period. And if you don't drop out, you're the one that's harming our chance of winning the presidency because you're refusing to drop out. That argument works both ways, right? You could say, Biden's not leaving. Any Democrat who criticizes him is the ones hurting our chances to win. Or you could say, Biden promised to leave a year and a half ago and he didn't. And he's too old. And he knows he's too old and he didn't pull out. If he refuses to leave, he's the one hurting our chances. I think both sides are right in a sense because you've got a game of chicken going on where both sides are hurting each other, so to speak. What do you think needs to happen for Biden to drop? A huge number of Democrats to come forward. A huge number. Like honestly, thank you, Anthony, for the gift. Think of like when members of Congress are forced, like what's his face? you know what I mean? Accused of harassing women. And honestly, I thought it was kind of bullshit. Al Franken. It ended up being like a lot of members speaking out and he didn't have a lot of senators. He didn't have a choice. You need a lot of Democratic senators to come out and criticize Biden and then he'll drop out. The other thing is if fundraising just falls through the floor, I'm seeing mixed information about whether the fundraising is actually, I kind of want him to drop out at this point. I didn't a few weeks ago. I kind of do now. Yeah, I do. I think this has become a mess. And you know what? I'm pissed at him. I really am. I'm kind of pissed at Biden now. The more I thought about it, I just really am. He did this to us. He promised he was running one term and he stayed. He lied. And he's doing it for his own. Thank you, Andrew, for subscribing. He's doing it for his own ego and arrogance. And by the way, this sort of hit me. I think it was yesterday's show maybe that this hit me. He's a senator. It was yesterday's show. We were talking about U.S. senators and how U.S. senators especially stay until they're literally got one foot in the coffin. And they don't. Actually, they stay until they have 2 feet in the coffin, right? Senators don't resign. They literally die in office. Biden was a senator for like 40 years. 50 years? 50 years. No, not 50, 40, because he was Obama's VP as well, right? Almost 40 years. I think he's pulling that senator bullshit with us, where like, no, you never step down, and through your grave, you stay in office. And it's pissing me off at this point. It really is. I just because the more I think about it, he promised he was going to leave last year. He promised not leave, but he promised he was running for one term, and he changed his mind. And you know what? He's too old. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I just saw him on TV today. This guy's not making it through 4 years. He's not. I mean, I'm sorry. Again, because I sort of wear two hats here. I've got to worry about a future of our democracy, but at the same time, I'm not going to lie to you guys. So I'm kind of got both hats on because we do have to defeat Trump, but the guy's way too freaking old. It's kind of ridiculous at this point. For 4 more years, come on. And I think that's going to hurt him. Again, I would vote for my dog over Donald Trump, right? That's fine. Will voters vote for my dog over Donald Trump? That I don't know. Thank you, Vaclav, for the donut. Right? I'm just not sure. What do you think? Just curious. I'm just curious because actually what's been very interesting is in the comments on TikTok, it's very split. I mean, forget the trolls. Among sort of Democrats, it's been, I would say, 50-50. Very like equal numbers of people going, he should have stepped down. He's too old. This is not good. We're not going to win unless we get somebody else. And equal of people going, bullshit. Stop criticizing him. We've got a rally. It's been very interesting. Yeah, you'd vote for Sasha Carroll. That's good to hear. Thank you, Love Mai, for the hearts. It's been very interesting. Actually, that's a good idea. Yeah, mods. Ash, I don't know, Mash. Mash. I just called you Mash. That'll be our new nickname for Ashley and Manda. Mash. Like J-Lo and what's his face. If you're there, set up a poll. There you are, Ash. Set up a poll for do you think Biden should step down? Actually, again, if you're on the left, forget if you're on the left, because we know we got a bunch of righties. Let's just put it. Do you think Biden should step down as the nominee? Period. Yes, no. Yes, step down, no. And by the way, say yes, step down, no, don't step down, or something like that. I would not give 3 options. Yeah. But say yes, step down, no, don't step down, if you can, so that people know what yes and no means. Because like yes and no, and we're getting it, but see, we're getting an interesting mix. Ash will do it as a poll. I give it 5 minutes or something. Ash will do it as a poll, but it's also interesting that even in the comments, actually YouTube as well. I'm not seeing you guys. You guys are much slower. But it's an interest, and I don't care if you're foreign. It's fine. I'm still kind of curious what people think. But I think it's a very, you'll see even in the comments, it's a mix. It may not be 50-50 exactly, but it's very Howard Stern for president. Yeah, that's cute. He might win. It's very interesting. Like, I think it's a pretty healthy mix of 50-50, I think, anyway, deep. My dog again. I know. Yeah, still mixed. Okay. Well, again, Ashley will set the poll up so we can see. I did see parts of Hulk Hogan last night. Yes. What else is going on? Thank you, Ernie, for the gift. Oh, Alexa, raise the temperature 1 degree. Wow. Set to 76. There we go. What else we got, guys? I'm not sure what else to tell you. So I really do. I think the Biden thing is very interesting day by day. Today, he's doing better, but only because he's digging his feet in and saying, I'm not going. And that potentially, thank you, Claire, for the multiple gifts, that potentially he hopes it convinces Democrats to just give up and say, all right, well, he's not stepping down. What do we do? Right? We're going to have to support him. If Democrats turn around and go, screw you. What do you mean you're not leaving? F you. Right? We're going to call publicly for you to step down. Then I think he's in trouble. And the problem is, I think Democrats know that, right? If I were advising a Democrat, like in Congress right now, I'd say if enough of you speak up, Biden's resigning from the nomination. If enough of you speak up, he will. The problem is what's enough. And if it's not enough, it does cause harm to a Democratic chance. But then again, If you think Biden's not going to win right now, no harm done, and continually calling on him to step down. That's the problem too. It's a mess. It's a mess. Harris would not be the nominee, no, Rachel, because no one's the nominee. There is no nominee until we have our convention, or until Democrats have their convention. So no one's the nominee right now. I mean, even because we could think it's Biden. That's why they used the term presumptive nominee, meaning he has enough delegates that he would, in principle, be the nominee if there were a vote today. But he's not the nominee until the convention, which is August 18th. So no, if he steps down, it still goes to the convention is August 18th. 1920, something like that, but August 18th. We checked yesterday. So if Biden were to step down as the nominee, he's actually not even stepping down as the nominee. He's stepping down as a candidate for the nomination. So they still would have to have a vote anyway at the Democratic convention in August 18th or 19th, whatever the day of the vote is. And Biden simply would not be one of the candidates that they're voting on, right? So the only change would be when they vote, Biden's no longer a candidate for the vote at the convention. So that's the difference. That's the difference. People of this country vote in early November. I forget, it's the first Tuesday of November. Does anybody know? Is it the 6th this year? I don't know. Alexa, what date is the American elections this year?
The next election in the United States is 2024 U.S. presidential election on November 5th.
November 5th. Okay. Julian got it right. November. And then the rest of you too, but Julian was first. You're funny, Evra. People hate my sprinkler. Evra thinks my sprinklers are awesome. I get so many comments in the YouTube. You guys don't do. That's my sprinkler system. But on TikTok, I get so many comments from people who hate the sprinkler system. It's like, I didn't install it. Don't blame me. Don't blame me. I know all the Alexas go off, of course. Remember the 5th of November. I always forget. Is the 5th the 5th? Is the 5th the remember? I guess it would be the 5th, wouldn't it? Is it the 5th? For Guy Fawkes Day? Not the election, but Guy Fawkes Day. I mean, yeah. Remember. I love that. I think it's a pretty poem. Pretty, so to speak. Well, it's from a movie, but Kronos, the movie, is actually based on history. It's actually from a poem, I guess you'd say, or a song, maybe a poem, going back to British history, early 1600s, maybe? I'm trying to remember exactly when it was. Late 1500s, early 1600s, when they tried to blow up Parliament. So they did the movie V based on it. 1605, there we go. They did the movie V based on it, but it's not from the movie, of course. The movie is based on but V for Vendetta. I got chills even talking about it. Wonderful movie. Creepy movie. Very good movie. But very creepy. Here we go. Interesting. Should Biden step down 145 votes? Yes, 62%. No, 38%. That's pretty serious. Wow. It's 145 people, but still, that's quite a significant number there. Alternatives to Biden, Pablo, I don't know. What I mean by that is I just would have to see polling, right? Kamala Harris in the latest polls is 50-50. It's 50-50. She in some states she does better than Biden, in other states she does worse. And it then depends on who she picks as her vice president if she were to run. Also, I will say this, voters know Joe Biden. Thank you, Kronos. They know Joe Biden. They don't know Kamala Harris. She's been around for 3 years, but for 3 years she's been the vice president, 3.5 years, which means she can't say anything. For 3.5 years, she's had to be Joe Biden's mini-me, right? So we don't anymore know when I say we don't know what she stands for, I mean, quite literally, I don't remember what her unique positions were during the campaign of 2020 or whatever it was, 2019, right? I just don't remember what her positions were on issues. So voters don't know her positions. As they get to know her positions, Kamala Harris, will they like her or dislike her? I don't know. Gretchen Whitmer, they really don't know her. Most have never even heard of her, let alone what her positions are. Gavin Newsom, governor of Florida, of California, most have never heard of him, let alone what his positions are. So you run my point is, I think it's very difficult to even know who would be best to run, because even the polls are not really clear, because voters don't know who any of these candidates are yet. Hillary. Brenda says, do you think Hillary would be an option? It's probably a little late for Hillary. I think it's a little late for Hillary. Also, the problem is she's old too at this point, I think. Alexa, how old is Hillary Clinton? Thank you, Canada Zen.
Clinton is 76 years old.
She's 76. I think it's just getting it's too much. This was the Elizabeth Warren problem, who's 75. I think you guys raised this yesterday. I think it was you guys. I think because if in fact Biden were to step down as the candidate because he's 80 or whatever the hell he is, you don't pick a 75-year-old in place instead, right? That's too much. That's too much. Even though I think in general, people in their mid to young 70s tend to be pretty, right? Elizabeth Warren, right? No, Hillary, no problem. But is a 75-year-old really the person you're replacing an 80 or 82-year-old with? I mean, is he 80? I keep forgetting, is he 82 or 80, Biden? It's just, and Bernie's ancient. Bernie's older. Bernie's older than Biden. How is 81? I keep forgetting. Alexa, how old is Joe Biden? 81. She doesn't always hear me. Alexa, how old is Joe Biden?
Joe Biden is 81 years old.
Okay, you guys were right about 81. Alexa, stop. You guys were right about 81. Yeah. So I think for appearance's sake, 70s is too old for appearance's sake. 70s is not too old, especially when you're talking a woman, right? And here's the thing too, I think, and I've said this before, people like to criticize age, but unless you're old, age brings experience. I have no problem with people being old. And frankly, I prefer somebody who's president, who's old to a degree, because I like somebody who's got experience. I really do. And I think for work, it's the same thing. Thank you, Bjorn. Young people don't like it, but guess what? That's because you're young and you want stuff, right? Once you put in 20, 30, 40 years experience, you too can rise to the top. You'll get there, right? Everybody else does. But I think, unfortunately, so I think women in their 70s especially are fine. They're not too old. But for this issue, they're too old because Biden is already, practically that age, 81. And if Biden were to step down, it's because Biden's too old. You don't pick somebody who's 75. It's still too much. And Pelosi's too old too. Of course, Pelosi's young 80s, 82, 83. She'd be far too old to run for president. She's never wanted to anyway. I mean, at least in recent memory. Thank you, Rick. Appreciate you saying that on YouTube. At what point do we consider character? We should consider character. I think always consider character. Are you kidding? Absolutely. Now, that's a good point. Jacob raises a good point. The older you are, the slower to adapt to change. I talked to a friend of mine who said that recruiters don't like to hire people in their 50s and up. And I said, why? I was thinking it's because of the money. Oh, people in their 50s make more, whatever. She said, no. She said, they find that people in their 50s and up are less amenable to change. They're less open to new ideas. That it's almost as if maybe a combination of things. It's not just you're closed-minded, but you've had 30 years experience, so you know the answer, right? And you're not as you're like, no, this is the way we've always done it. It works. Trust me, rather than, hey, maybe there is something new and crazy that works, right? So there is that counterpoint of, young can be willing to do things. Actually, it reminds me like picking a doctor. You know what I mean? Young doctors intrigue me because I feel like they're really up on the latest stuff, but I don't like somebody who's book smart and isn't experience smart. I kind of like doctors who have 30 years experience because I feel like they'll see things and go, that reminds me of this patient 10 years ago and this patient 15 years ago. And I had a case, right? Like they're sleuthing more than a young person. But again, that's my bias. Who knows if I'm right? Right? I mean, who knows? Anyway. Angela, and you're putting your foot down, Angela. No, I'm kidding. Angela says, I'm 57 and I disagree. I'm very open to change. But just the way you said it made me laugh. Like, damn it. I'm very open to other ideas. Like, no, I'm kidding you. But it was something that a friend, like I said, who was a recruiter basically said. Sum up the news. Antonina, I'll do a sort of news summary at the end. There isn't a ton of news today, actually. There isn't a ton of news, really. Could they select someone else at the convention without Biden stepping down? Yes. I was reading about this today. Again, the process is so complicated. I just don't want to go through it. But when you vote for someone for president in a primary, You're not voting for the man. Let's say man. You're voting for an elector who will vote for the man. So in California, you didn't vote for Biden for president in the California primary. You voted for Biden's electors, people literally running to vote for Biden, and you're voting for them. They are supposed to vote for Biden when the convention happens next month. And if they do, Biden would win. But they're supposed to. And I was reading today that it's not really clear that they have to. They're supposed to. So it's possible, no one's saying they think it's going to happen, but it's possible that those electors could go next month and say they themselves stage a revolt and go, we're not voting for Biden. So it's possible. Yeah. Yeah. I know, AJ, I should do a meet and greet. I did them years ago when I was blogging. I never kind of know. Thank you, Patrick. When I was blogging, it was more sort of an American audience. I never kind of know if anybody's near enough to even do a meet and greet. I guess in the DC area, maybe we'd get some people, maybe I'll do it sometime when Callum's in town. That would be a possibility. And Angelica, his fiance. But that might be fun. The Electoral College is ridiculous. Yes. Yes. Oh, boy. Oh, excuse me, guys. My dog woke me up a lot last night. Ugh. I will say, Mark Kelly, God only knows. Mark Kelly, U.S. Senator, astronaut. It is funny because a friend of mine said they saw him on MSNBC the other night. Thank you, Blue Ariel, for the gift. Keep the gifts coming, guys. Saw him on MSNBC the other night, and my friend goes, he's really pushing his, well, I was an astronaut, this kind of stuff. What's he doing? And I said, I think he's running for president. I think Mark Kelly's trying to convince you to pick him instead of Biden, right? Why would you support a jihadist supporter party? That's not English, Paul. I was going to give a witty comeback, but that's so not English. It's not even possible to respond to that. You're not American. You're not even an Anglo, which is okay. But when you come to trounce on an English-speaking, live, at least use English or proper English, because otherwise we have no idea what you're talking about. And how can we lampoon you if we can't understand what you're writing? Anyway, the mods are quick today. Blinken? Oh, that's funny. That's funny. I mean, we could do another poll. I don't know what the poll is going to be any different, Ben. What else, guys? And again, we don't have to go long today because, as I said, I'm a little tired. And in an hour, I've got to go for dinner anyway. We're going for Greek for dinner. So that will be nice. Well, hopefully it's nice. I am Greek, so. Terry, well, you wouldn't see a poll over on YouTube. I don't know that there is one on YouTube. Wait, hang on a second. I can do a poll. Oh, I can do a poll on YouTube. I totally forgot this. Hang on. I did not know this until Terry wrote that. Hold on. I'm going to do a YouTube poll. Woo, sorry guys. Should Biden step down as the nominee? Yes and no. Oops, don't want that option. Oh, maybe it's just going to let me. Uh-oh. There it is. Oh, okay. I'm starting the poll. I don't know how it's going to work here. Oh, there it is. Oh, how cool. Okay. And I can just let it. Oh, I see. I can let it go until it goes. Okay. So on YouTube, the poll is up. That's kind of cool. I totally did not know I had a polling. Literally, Terry said that. And I said, I think there's a polling feature on YouTube. Okay. Ash, do one more on TikTok just for the fun of it. One more poll. Should Biden step down as the nominee? You can just say yes or no. Should Biden step down as the nominee? I think it's hard, Alex. I mean, we could do a poll too on who should replace them, but I feel like we could, but it's like, I don't even know who to pick, Andy Bashir. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, oh, the poll is up. Oh, still up, or is it a new poll? I, of course, can't see it. Yeah, I don't see it. It doesn't show on my end, but TikTok. Yep, definitely not showing it on my end. Oh, excuse me. Oh, YouTube. 60 votes on YouTube. That's pretty good. Yep, YouTube is kind of the same as TikTok was. So far it's 71 on YouTube saying Biden should step down. That's very interesting. I was kind of surprised. Like I said, to me, on TikTok, I was expecting, and again, I think it's Democrats weighing. I don't think it's trolls or it's people who like Biden. I was surprised how many people thought he should step aside. I figured most would be like, no, Like, stop it. You know what I mean? I agree with Susan. It'd be nice to know who the nominee is before Biden steps down. There's no way to know. There's no way to know. Not there's no way to know. I would say that's one of the things they could be even negotiate. I mean, if I were Biden, potentially, I might try to negotiate that and say, look, I'll step down, but it better be this person who replaces me or something. Then again, if I'm Biden, who cares? Like, I mean, what I mean is, if I'm not running, I just want the best person to run. I don't care that, like, and I say this too. I don't care who we pick in the sense that, yes, Kamala Harris is the VP. I'm sure it'd be nice for her if she got picked, but I don't care. I want us to pick the person who's got the best chance of beating Trump. And if it's Kamala Harris, it's her. But I don't think she gets it just because she's the VP. Because if this were a normal election, a normal primary, she'd have to run against everybody else. Thank you, Gwen. So I don't know. Whoever, seriously, I'd be, again, if my dog did the best in the polls, I would pick my dog. I just don't care. Race, gender, you name it. I don't care. It is late though. Thank you, Maddie, for the gift. It's late. I know it is. It is too late, or not too late. It's very late. It's very late. I was a Republican years ago. I used to work for a Republican senator a long time ago. Yeah, the numbers are not changing on YouTube. 73% Biden stepped down, or 67% Biden stepped down, 33% no as nominee. I'm not sure who to put though as who the candidates, who the possible candidates are. You know what I mean? It's kind of hard. Because like, who would you put? Michelle Obama, Gretchen Whitmer. By the way, Ash, good luck spelling all these names. Michelle Obama, Gretchen Whitmer, Gavin Newsom. Do you pick some of the other governors like Bashir, Shapiro? I don't even know. And Kamala. I don't know who else you even like. That's already 6 right there. Mark Cuban. That's funny. And again, keep in mind that we as Americans say there's not enough time. The Brits and everybody else laugh because their elections, the recent British elections were 6 weeks. He announced the elections. They had 6 weeks between the announcement and the actual election. And then the morning after the election, the new prime minister took over. Whereas here it's 2.5 months. But in an election, presidential elections are 2 years here. Is the other poll still running? I don't even know. If the other poll is still there, then vote. I can't see. It's not going to show me. I don't think it's going to show me. Where is this? It should show me. Hang on. Let me see. Here we go. In progress. I can see the poll. Okay. Yeah, the poll's still going on, guys. You got 1 more minute on TikTok. Sorry. You've got 1 more minute to vote. Some of you were saying you still wanted to vote. TikTok poll is still up. Do you think Biden should step down as the nominee? Yes or no? Currently, 70% say yes. 119 voting. Actually, very close to YouTube, 68% on YouTube. Now, mind you, these are not scientific, but it's still very interesting that the numbers are almost identical on TikTok and YouTube. That's wild. Yeah, 70% or 71% maybe TikTok, 70% YouTube. That's really interesting. Again, unscientific, but interesting. Another 30 seconds. All right. Bashir from Deep State Nine. He was kind of a sexist pig, but I watched the series again. We won't get into too much sci-fi here, but I watched it again like a year or 2 ago. And by the end, when like the new trill comes and then he hits on her too and finally hooks up, I was like, could you be any more gross about this? Like it was so abusively sexist and what's the word I'm looking for? Like sexual harassment-y. You know what I mean? Like, hey, she's dead. Let's go for her implant. I mean, and back then we were like, how cute, how sweet, So yes, final poll on TikTok, 69% say step down, 30% say don't. Yeah, there you go. There you go. Yep. And YouTube is the same, 68% step down. Yeah. Very interesting. Again, polling, I did not vote. No, I don't think I can vote. It doesn't let me vote. Yeah, I'm not allowed to vote. That's very funny, actually. It does not let me vote. Anyway, it's just interesting. It doesn't mean anything, but it is interesting that people are that decidedly against it. Thank you, Slays. Appreciate it. Anyway, we'll maybe go a couple more minutes, guys, and then we'll call it quits. I'm just really tired. Again, the dog had me up a lot last night. She's old, but she had me up a lot, and I'm just kind of like, ugh. You know, I'm tired, but I'm not going to. Yeah, really. There's our polling question. Which Star Trek captain would you want instead of Biden as president? Picard, Kirk, Janeway, Cisco. What was his face from Star Trek Enterprise? What was his name? Remember Star Trek Enterprise? I'm forgetting the name. Remember? What's his face? What was the name? Archer. There you go. Thank you, Alan. Archer. Yep. That's a little too, I love it, but that's a little too geeky. No one else would get it except us. Thank you, Zia, Christian, I guess, for the, I did start early tonight because I'm going to dinner with friends and I didn't want to have the show. Well, I would have had to quit the show at like 1:45 or whatever to get there in time. So, or earlier. Oh, Con. Oh, I'm so freaking tired. Oh my God. All right. I probably am a little tired still from my little colonoscopy thing, but also the dog woke me up a lot. So I'm just kind of, and I did nap a little today, but it clearly wasn't enough. I mean, I thought it was enough, but it was not enough. Burnham. Oh, Burnham. Ooh, Chris. Edgy. I was forgetting about Burnham. Well, Pike. Let's get geekier. Pike is another one. We could do a quickie. Harris, Whitmer, and Newsom. Are they the three? I guess they are the three. What the? Let's throw in Michelle Obama too. Well, no. If we throw in Michelle Obama, I think she's going to jaundice the poll. I think she's going to jaundice the poll if we throw Michelle Obama in. You know what I mean? I just feel like it throws the poll. I think we do a poll with Whitmer, with who should be the nominee. Actually, let's not have Biden. If it's not Biden, Whitmer, Newsom, and Harris, of course. Newsom. Am I spelling Newsom right? I always forget whether he has an E at the end or not. Kamala. I'm going to say Newsom without an E, even though I suspect it has an E, but I'm not going to care. Whitmer, Newsom, and Kamala. I'll put them as the three. Mark Cuban. I'm not putting Cuban. I think Shapiro's too much. Michelle, I would put, but I think she's going to, and I don't think she's even considering running. All right. I'm putting that poll up on YouTube. Klobuchar, but Klobuchar is not a real candidate, WC. She's not, I just, I don't think she's a real, and Pete, I love Pete, but I don't think Pete's in contention right now either. I think those are the ones they're talking about. Kamala, they're talking about Newsom, and they're talking about Whitmer. Now, it could branch out, though. It could be Bashir and some of the others. But I think it's interesting maybe just to try with these and see, just for fun. We'll see. If you have time, Ash, to do it there. Again, we're not going to stay too much longer because I'm going to go soon just to kind of chill a little bit because I'm very tired. Pete as VP for Kamala. Interesting. I mean, black woman and gay guy. I say this as a gay man. That might be a little too diverse, possibly. It might be. But poll in progress. Okay, thank you, Ash. Let me look again here. Poll in progress. All right, there we go. Vote, guys, on YouTube, TikTok. So on YouTube, it's Kamala Harris 58%, then Newsom 29%, then Whitmer 12%. On TikTok, same thing though. Harris 53%, Newsom 32%, Whitmer 13%. So Whitmer's definitely at the bottom, but I also think people don't know her as well. They like Newsom, but they really like Harris more. The numbers are very close. It's very interesting. I mean, very similar poll numbers on each. It's again unscientific, but odd that the numbers are similar. Yeah. No, Harris 55 on TikTok, Harris 52 on YouTube. Very interesting. I know we didn't put Mark Kelly. I mean, the problem is there's lots of different people you can put. You know what I mean? Now, I will say, I think Mark Kelly is interesting, just because of the whole astronaut thing and everything else. I'm a big, again, it's not very diverse, but Americans like their white businessmen candidates. They do, Doesn't mean we should keep picking them because then women don't get to run or anybody else. But, Kamala is still 51% on YouTube and 56 on TikTok. All right. Oh boy. Oh God. I'm gonna go in a minute, guys. I'm really tired. I want to like see. I'm like, I don't want more coffee at this hour though, but I'm very tired. I can tell. The problem is now I'm gonna like sit at dinner, kind of going. I wish the dog hadn't woken me up last night. She totally. I mean, she kept waking me up. She just wasn't feeling well. Like it was just every couple hours waking me up, and I was like, I'm going to kill you. Absolutely going to kill you. At least now the weather's a little better, so I'm able to take her for a walk longer and stuff. So hopefully that's tiring her out more, but still. All right. I think we're going to call it. So the TikTok poll is 56%, 57% Harris, 31% Newsom. YouTube is 51% Harris and 33% Newsom, which are very close. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's it. That's it. Very interesting. Very interesting. So, yeah. So interestingly, I would say clearly most people think Biden should step down, which is interesting as the nominee. And clearly most of them think it would be Kamala Harris. And I will say Kamala Harris, Bernie's too old. I didn't realize it, Robin Hood, until I looked into it. Somebody said Bernie was like 82. He really is. We can't replace an 81-year-old with an 82-year-old. I mean, right? Even though Bernie, maybe he's got it all going, that's just not, I mean, we can't. I mean, you can't. You just can't. I mean, we'd be laughing stock if we did that. You just can't, And who knows if Bernie even wants to anymore, but I just, you just can't. So, oh boy, ask your children what they think. All right, guys, you know what? I'm just going to call it quits because I am extremely tired, which is not good for doing this dinner tonight. As I said, the dog kept me up a lot last night, and I can tell I'm like, maybe I'll have a little iced tea. I don't want to sort of go overboard with all the caffeine, like, but anyway. All right, guys, I'm going to sign off. Tomorrow morning, remember, we've got the Coffee Talk, our Saturday morning show I do for the paid subscribers. That's all of you on TikTok who have SNN next to your name who either paid to be a monthly subscriber, or you may have gotten a 1 month free gift from somebody else donating. And for those of you on YouTube, it's all of you with green names. Join us tomorrow morning, 11 o'clock Eastern time. That's 11 o'clock Washington, D.C. time, where we will be hanging out, and it's a lot of fun. Vlad may join us. I don't know. He's been busy lately, but I'll reach out to Vlad again. But we have a nice hangout. It's a nice show. So, all right, guys, I'm going to sign off. I've already got it set up on YouTube for tomorrow. Hopefully I set it up correctly. Ha, ha, ha. We shall see. We shall see. Yeah, Bernie's been very good supporting Biden. How do you become a subscriber? There's something on the screen there, Alex, somewhere. Somebody want to tell? Actually, you know what? Make it easier, Alex, because I'm going to sign off. Go to my profile. There's literally a subscription button or something on my profile. I think it may even say subscribe or something like that. Does it say subscribe or something, guys? Somebody? But the yellow banner, you can't touch the yellow banner. Nothing will happen if you touch it, I'm pretty sure. Whereas if you go to my profile and look for the subscribe button, just do it there. Thank you, by the way, for asking, Alex. All right. Thank you, Alex. Appreciate that. All right, guys. But the yellow banner, if you touch it, nothing happens, right? I'm assuming the yellow banner, nothing happens. Or is there a different yellow banner? Anyway, on my end, you can't see it because I don't need to subscribe, of course. But my yellow banner is just a thing. It's not really, it's just a written thing. Exactly. The yellow banner is just a reminder I put up. Left of the comment box. Okay. Except that I'm going to hang up, so that's going to go away. So go to my profile, look for the subscription there. All right, guys. Have a good night. Have a good night. Thank you, guys. I'll see a bunch of you tomorrow. Otherwise, I'm back Monday at 6 o'clock Eastern at the normal time. All right. All right. See you guys. Boom. All right. See you all. Thank you.